What's cracking, everyone? My name is Ryan, and today I want to talk to you guys about these. These are the new KOSS TWS250i earbuds. Now, these retail in at $49.99, and I would like to send a special thank you to KOSS for sending these out for review. All thoughts and opinions are of my own. All right, guys, so first of all, let's start with what you get inside the box of the T50i. So first of all, when you open up the box, you're going to be met by this hard plastic, kind of rubbery type molding that will contain the earbuds, of course, but then also the earbud case. You're going to also get a set of tips, silicone tips. These are both small, medium, and large. I believe medium was on the earbuds when you first get them out. And then you get a somewhat short USB-C charge cable. But then also you'll get the instruction booklet that is about 12 pages in total. It's 6 pages, and it's got a front and back to it. That'll explain everything you need to know on the TWS250i. Now, moving further into the technical specifications, this is Bluetooth 5.0. They are about 4.5 hours of talk and playtime, music, listening, things like that. And then the case itself is going to get you about a charge and a half, a full charge and a half. So think about 11 hours total before you're going to need to completely recharge the case and everything on that. This is 20 to 20,000 hertz frequency response. And then as far as wireless range, it's said to get about 30 plus feet of wireless range. More on that here in a second. But I do want to go back really quick to the tech specs. As far as sound goes, if you're looking for information on the codecs, the DAC, or anything like that, KOSS doesn't have that listed. These are a budget earbud. That's kind of be expected with that. So, just note that. All right, so then let's go ahead and talk about build and comfort. So when you first open these up, they will flash, actually they'll flash blue and red when you first open them. I know these were blue because they're already paired, but the blue and red just means it's in pairing mode. And this was pretty quick to pair up to my Samsung phone. I would imagine other phones too. I paired it up to my laptop, to my tablet. All of that was pretty flawless to do. But then when you get these out, I mean, these are, I gotta admit, they're pretty nice. The earbuds themselves, I mean, they say KOSS right on them, but they're a nice solid plastic material. Of course, these are your typical, thinner silicone tips, but actually fitting these in your ear is kind of just you put them in and you twist them a little bit. If I start talking louder, I apologize. But you put them in, you twist them a little bit. These are already connected to my phone. So if you can, kind of see how they're fitting there. And they're pretty comfortable. I have no problem with that. Earbuds and IEMs, are something I'm a little picky with, at least with my ears. And so when I put these on, do they just disappear? No, they don't disappear, but they're not uncomfortable. Like I said, they rest in well. I actually have to use the large silicone tips, big boy ears. And these actually are really snug and they seal really well. Now there is no ANC, so do note that if you're in a noisy environment or something, yeah, I mean that's what you're gonna have to deal with. But still, they seal really well and they fit really well. They are super comfortable, so nice job, KOSS. I mean, seriously, $49.99. I was happy with that. Real quick, I do want to mention the wireless range I said I would get to. So I was upstairs in my office listening to these on my phone, and I went downstairs in the kitchen, which is, probably within that 30-foot range. It's definitely not more. And I actually dropped out. I didn't quite make it even to the door to go outside to test that. But the good news is when I went outside to test this, I set my phone up and I just started walking. I got a good 50 feet at least before these started to cut out. And then once I came back within range, they picked back up. So I would say the wireless range, they're correct on that. Just note that, if you're in a noisy environment with a lot of a lot of electronics and Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and things, your mileage may vary on that range. So next, I just want to quickly take you through the functions of these because it's pretty basic, but I think something good to know. First of all, you're going to notice on the case itself, it will have 4 lights that will flash blue when it's either charging or when you open and shut it. Obviously, one light, well, I shouldn't say obviously, but one light is 25%, 2 lights is going to be 50%, 3 is going to be 75%, 4 is, of course, all the way charged. And it's going to let you know that when you open and shut the case, just so you have an idea of where they are. Also, when you open up the case, if the earbud is solid red, that means it's in charging mode, so that you know that. Now, the earbud itself, when you have it out, it's going to be flashing blue if it's going to need to be charged. So that is a good way you'll know. Obviously, you're not going to see that if it's on your ear, but just note that. And then next, once they are paired up with something, you're going to notice they will flash blue about every 5 seconds. One thing to note on that is these are able to be paired individually. So if you only wanted to have one earbud out at a time and just use that one for playing or whatever, you can do that. Each earbud is going to have a microphone on it as well for taking calls, chat, things like that. And as far as the touch functions go, it's pretty simple touch functions. I didn't have a lot of difficulties with it. There's different things that you can do between. I do like the fact that, in the left ear, I believe is one tap is volume down. In the right ear is one tap volume up. Same thing for skipping tracks in reverse and skipping tracks forward. I believe that is tap and hold, tap and hold. And then there is, double taps for play pause. You can do that for either. Triple tap if you want to use the voice assistant, which, by the way, these do have voice assistant compatibility. Now, this worked with my Samsung Bixby really easy. It also works with Google Home. I did believe it worked with Amazon, but I don't have Siri to test that. I didn't try it with Windows, but just know that it does have that voice assistance compatibility, and it will tell you that, when you pair it up with your device, it's going to let you know if it's compatible with whatever voice assistance that you are using. And so before I get into sound, there's a couple more things I do want to discuss. One is taking and receiving phone calls. That was easy enough. I had a phone call. Actually, when I first put them on, a family member called me and I started using them, and I asked them how I sounded. They said I sounded fine. So, all good there as far as taking a call goes. It was easy to figure out how to just hang up the call. And then there's a tap and hold feature as well, I believe, for muting yourself. But these take calls really easy. One thing I will note, though, is on volume. Because these are not ANC, you're going to probably notice that you may be turning these up louder if you're in a louder environment. And when you're in a dead silent environment, which I was earlier today, my wife and kids were gone, and I had them about 50% volume, and that was comfortable enough to listen to my music on. But as I said, because these aren't ANC, you may find yourself turning them up louder. So just be a little cautious on that. Obviously, listening to things too loud can be, damaging to your hearing. So if I can spit that out, this is the, public hearing police telling you just be careful about your hearing. All right, so for sound impressions, basically what I can say about these is these are a musical engaging earbud with sound. These are the earbuds that you pick up, you go to a gym and you listen to some fast music with some bass and things, and you get into your music. That's kind of how I describe these on the short. There's a lot of bass to these. It's not overly bloated to where that's all you hear is bass, but there's good bass, there's good low end, there's good slam. It really gets you going. You feel it hit. The mid-range, I would say, is a little bit recessed, maybe a little too much for some. One way I know to describe that is like guitars and, just things with a lot of instruments in it sometimes can be a little bit pushed back from the stage. You're going to hear more of the heavy drums and things than you are that, type of instrument. Vocals is kind of the same thing. Sometimes vocalists, if you like vocal music, won't be as much in your ear as maybe you would want, or maybe you do want that. It's all a flavor thing. I get that. And then treble's a little elevated. I'm not going to lie there. There's a little bit of sibilance to the treble. I noticed this more so when I actually took a phone call and was talking to a family member, and I just noted, every time they were had a s, and I'm sorry, I just did that in the microphone, but you get what I'm saying. There was that sibilance to their tones. I didn't always notice this in songs. It really is going to depend on the tracks that you're listening to, whether that comes out. But just note, if you are treble sensitive, that could be something that would bother you. Now, furthermore, what I'd like to do is give you some track examples for you audiophiles out there that want to know a little bit more in the details on music. Let's do that next. All right, so the first track I want to bring up and talk to you guys about is the song Wolf Totem. Now, this is by The Who, the alternate version that features Papa Roach. Now, in this one, what I thought was interesting wearing these earbuds was at the very beginning, you'll hear this drum just hitting. It's, on the sides, and you can almost feel the air through the earbuds of that push of the drum, just boom, 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 boom. And it was It was cool. It was engaging. It got me into that song right away. I didn't even mind the fact that vocals were a little bit, again, pushed back, not so much in my ear, but it was the bass line of it, the drums and things that got me wanting to get up and listen and nod my head and get into the music. That's what you want to do. And then another one was the song Boom by Tiesto featuring Gucci Mane. Now, this one is a fun track I like. It's something I just like to throw on, and just really when I want to hear some bass and feel some bass, I throw that track on. This was definitely no different, and I felt that in my chest, and it got me up, and I actually started kind of walking around my house and felt like going to the gym, and I thought, this is what you want, right? I mean, if you're somebody that's wanting something that's not going to last long in a charge, and it's budget friendly, but it's musical, I think this is it. This is going to get tracks and music like that. It's going to get you up and going. But I don't want to sell it short, because I even tried some Diana Krall. I tried a live performance of hers. And, you know, she's got piano, as you know, quite a bit in her tracks. And just that jazz tune and that piano came through. And I think that's a testament to the heightened treble that you get. And then her vocals were a little bit better in my ear, to where, you know, when I was just by myself, just kind of laying back on the couch, listening at about half volume, that was a nice, relaxing listening. So it's good to know that you can get that flavor out of it as well. It's an engaging earbud. Pros of this earbud to me are that it's musical, sounds great. It's got some sibilance to it, so do note that on kind of a negative, but I do like the sound of these. I do like the aesthetics of these. Something to note that you may, want to be careful of is the case itself. The lid is kind of flimsy, so I don't know if I'd be sticking this in my pocket and taking it to the gym and something like that, or just going out. I'd want to be careful not to knock this and snap off the case or something like that. So you may want to be a little cautious on that. And then also the charge time. Let's be real on that. 4.5 hours is not a lot. And in fact, when I first saw that, I was like, oh, I don't know about these. But, after I saw the price at $49.99, and let's face it, this is KOSS. There's going to be times they'll run a sale on these. It's a pretty good price. And for 4.5 hours and you get a charge and a half out of this, yeah, I mean, I can swallow that pill okay just fine, knowing that I'm just not going to get as much juice as I would like. All right, guys, I am going to wrap up this video. I thank you for watching. If you like this video, please smash that like button. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel, because I've got more content coming out on a regular basis. And also, these are great with gaming. I tried them on my Nintendo Switch. I felt like a kid again. Sounded great. It's kind of a V shape. You get what I'm saying. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.